I make a lot of tough decisions every single day, but the hardest one that I will never solve is which new Super Mario Bros. Game is the best. It's something that's, been heavily debated for pretty much forever, now that all the games have been out for over a decade. No one really seems to agree on, is the DS one the best, the Wii one, the Wii U one, the Switch one, the 3DS one? I don't really know, so what we're going to do today is just kind of look through all these games, try to highlight all the things that are unique about them, and then we'll come to our own conclusion in the comments. So starting with, of course, New Super Mario Bros. DS. This is the one I'm definitely the most fond of because I grew up with the DS. I absolutely love the console still. I've got a ton of DS games at this point, and I've been playing this one, since I was like 12, 13 years old. I've got a lot of pretty interesting stories with this game, and you know what? I feel like this one might actually be my favorite out of all the games, and a lot of it does come down to just nostalgia. I am very, very nostalgic for the game, but since this was the very first new Super Mario Bros. Game, it still kind of feels the most fresh, even though the gameplay itself definitely isn't as smooth as, say, like the 3DS or the Wii U one. Just everything about it just feels very, very refreshing and just fun. So, New Super Mario Bros., what's unique about it compared to the other ones? Strangely, I wouldn't even say the main gameplay is what's unique about this game. It's more or less the multiplayer stuff. Because with multiplayer, we have just mini-games, which everyone forgets that New Super Mario Bros. Actually has mini-games. But basically, if you go into the multiplayer mode, you can play a bunch of touchscreen mini-games. A lot of them come from Mario 64 DS as well, but some of them are also exclusive to New Super Mario Bros. But you could also play these through local co-op play, and I actually did this a lot, and it was a lot of fun. Like, I would even say that these touchscreen minigames still hold up pretty well. But then, of course, there's also the star mode, where basically you and someone else are trying to end up with the most stars, and that mode is also only on the DS. The best thing that the new games offered was that particular multiplayer mode. The levels are still great, the power-ups are pretty good. The Mega Mushroom isn't overly used, it's only used in a few levels. The Blue Shell, probably my favorite Mario power-up of all time, because it's so much fun to just kind of like slide around and just knock out enemies. It's going to be hard to find differences in all these games, but I do feel like this one, it's the most standout one out of, all the games. Then we've got New Super Mario Bros. Wii. This one I'm also somewhat nostalgic for, because I did also get this when I was, still a teenager. But at the time when this game came out, I was a lot more into Guitar Hero and Rock Band, so I didn't really play it. I did play it a little bit, of course, but like I wasn't like, super invested. And of course, the big thing here is just the multiplayer and the power-ups. And the power-ups here are definitely, I would say, like the most useful out of all the games, like the propeller mushroom. I mean, you can just skip half the levels very easily with that thing. And then, of course, there's the multiplayer, which is just kind of a mess, to be honest. Like, the multiplayer just really isn't that great. But we do have Yoshi. There's no more mini games. There's not really, outside of the main game, there's not really like extra modes. I know a lot of people say this is like the best one. I do think that like the general feel of the game is a little bit better compared to DS, because I think the general feel got better throughout each iteration. But in terms of like unique things, this one does not offer very much, to be honest. Then we've got New Super Mario Bros. 2. Now, this is a game that I got when I started to get a little bit more into Mario. I remember playing, I got this, and then on the same day that I purchased this, I also got Mario Kart 7 and Super Mario 3D Land, and a 3DS. I got all those things in one day. It was a pretty crazy day for me, and I freaking loved this game. And you know what? I still kind of like it. And it's dumb because, there's definitely the least amount of unique features, but at the same time, there's something about it that's just so charming and so odd. Like, the whole coin collecting gimmick shouldn't be that interesting, and I would say, like, it doesn't sound that interesting, but the thing is that it's really fun. Like, it's just fun to grab like 1,000 coins in a level. You just don't have to worry about dying. You just kind of like plow through, get a bajillion coins. It's just satisfying just collecting everything. God, like, what else is distinct about this game? I guess the DLC. And basically all the DLC was just like a bunch of levels. The only interesting ones was like the Classics pack, or I think it was the Gold Classics pack, technically, where it remade some levels from like the older games. There's, of course, the Impossible pack. The levels are freaking impossible. The other DLC levels are just kind of like fine. I mean, they don't really use like brand new assets or anything. They just look like levels that could have already been in the main game. They don't really stick out, which I feel like they probably should have, but it's still really fun. I kind of enjoy it. This might be my favorite. Here's the thing, like, I'm looking at all these games, and I'm thinking back all the times that I've played them. I'm like, oh yeah, you know what? this game's actually not bad. This might be my favorite one. Then we've got New Super Mario Bros. U. I feel like people critique this one the most just because it came out the same year as Mario Bros. 2. I would say it's probably the least unique out of all of them. Of course, the gamepad, you can tap on blocks. There's a boost mode. It's just the same levels again, but like the levels automatically scroll. And then there's challenges, which is probably my favorite part of Mario Bros. U. The challenge mode is very fun. It makes the game very, very difficult if you're going for like gold medals. And it adds a lot of like really cool concepts to just the game in general. Like, can you beat this level without touching an enemy? Can you beat it while bouncing off of Baby Yoshi's bubbles only as Mini Mario? Can you beat it without touching the ground? Like, there's a lot of very cool ideas for challenges. So I can at least appreciate that, but I feel like the core game is just so forgettable. Like, yeah, they did try a bunch of new things, but nothing really stands out. Nothing is all that striking. This is probably, I would say, like the least unique Mario Bros. U game, or New Super Mario Bros. Game, but at the same time, it could be the best just because the level design is definitely the most polished out of like all the games. And then quickly, I'll just go over, New Super Luigi U. Basically the same thing, except this time, you play as Luigi. This might have the best levels, because I do feel like condensing them down, making them a little more challenging, especially if you're going for star coins, because the timer's a lot smaller. You only got 100 seconds to find them and, clear the level. So that's at least nice. I also love how the box is, it's got this nice little green casing on it. That's pretty cute. I like that. Of course, it was for the year of Luigi, which, isn't it weird? You know what else is weird about this? The year of Luigi was 10 years old. Can you believe 10 years ago? 2013 is when the year of Luigi happened. Now it's 2023. I like Luigi U. I don't mind this game. It's weird because it's like, it kind of just feels like regular Mario Bros. U. The only difference really is the levels, but I would say levels are just about as comparable as Mario Bros. U levels. And then, of course, our final one, we're finally out of this freaking franchise. Mario Bros. U Deluxe, it's just a port of Mario Bros. U and Luigi U. It does add some different things, though, which is why it's worth bringing up. I feel like it adds just enough to warrant a purchase if you never played the Wii U games. So, of course, Peachette, weird character. It spawned Bowsette. Good job, Nintendo, for spawning Bowsette. The only thing that people don't like is the fact that when you push the jump button, and if you push it again in the air, you spin. I do agree that can be annoying, but I don't know, maybe I'm the only person that just isn't really bothered by this. Like, it doesn't take me that long to adjust to the fact that pushing jump twice also spins. But that's Mario Bros. U Deluxe. It's really not much different from Mario Bros. U. It's just the new character mostly. So in general, those are the main differences in all the new Super Mario Bros. Games. I probably missed a few things here and there, but for the most part, that's about it. I'd be curious to know like which game you think is the best. So go ahead, let me know down below. And if you say Super Mario Bros. Wonder, then you're right. That's definitely the best new Super Mario Bros. Game.